the Fool in the tarot card, are you familiar with the tarots? I think pretty much everybody knows. There's million tarots these days. Looking at the classical deck, the Fool is number 0. That's really powerful. Now we're going to look at this Fool with the Tantric map, okay? The Tantra is a philosophy of life. It's a living philosophy. And for me, I use it as a map to meet reality. And it's so curious that it always gives me insights that are valuable. So that's why I'm still with Tantra 20 years later. I'm still learning. And so the number 0, it's really powerful, right? First of all, it's a circle. It's all inclusive. It's non-linear. It's from the circle of the 0, then we start to count with 1 and 2, number, linearity, masculinity. The 0 is all encompassing. There is no separation in the 0. To say 1, I need to have a 2. Yeah? So that's why also Tantra, the teaching of Tantra is called Advait, non-two, non-duality. And is Advait. Vait is duality. Dvait is duality. Dvait. And A, when you put the A in front of the word in Sanskrit, is the negation of the word. So Advait, it's non-duality. Because it's beyond all the linear thinking that start to separate things in order to understand them. And so in the circle, we are all in it. We are imbibed in the suchness. It's all one big cauldron. And nothing is excluded. It's all part of it. And in Tantrism also, we have this teaching of totality, to live your life in totality, which includes everything. Nothing is excluded. And so there aren't things, when things happen, they're always perfect. Even when they look horrible and horrific, there is an intrinsic perfection to everything. When you are not in the separated mind that judges, that think better, it's happening. Therefore, it was always meant to happen. If it's happening, it was always meant to happen. Because it's happening. And life creates itself in every moment. There isn't a purpose that is beyond the happening. In some philosophy, we have this idea to find purpose. What I came here to do, as if somehow there is someone that decides your life for you. This God, maybe this Christian God, this power personality that is beyond you, that have made decision for your life. And now in this life, you're looking for this purpose, like looking to fulfill someone else's plan in some ways. How bizarre. No? And so here, hence more desperation, looking for the purpose, looking for what I'm meant to do. And in Tantrism, we're looking at the process of unfolding as the only process that really is happening. And so the number 0 really encompasses this. Is just unfolding from source. You can see the 0 like this, the center of the universe. And from there, consciousness unfold. And so when you get the card of the Fool, you know that everything is possible. All potential are there. You must listen carefully and observe the sign in your life. Because if you think about the future too much, you're missing in the present moment. And you're missing the suchness, this relaxed unfolding. And last time we met, which was Saturday at the Bliss Dance Day, I also spoke a little bit about this, the name of Tantra and the etymology. And I say that the word Tantra, if we split it, Tan, as this sound, is the tension, the tension of life, and is the tension of the polarity. The left and right, the day and night, the hot and cold, the soft and hard, the short and long, the like and dislike, the attraction and rejection, everything that we can talk about in this dimension belongs in the realm of polarity. Language describes polarity. There is also other that can only be felt beyond language. That's the big zero. That's the Advaitis, beyond the polarity. And we can't really talk about that. We can only have experience of those. So Tan is the tension. Tra is the third point of the tension. If we have a tension of polarity, we have 2 points. And the Tra is the root word of number 3, or triangle, triad. And if you think about a lot of spiritual tradition, the triangle, it's often there. And you can have so many different names. It's a figure of power. And is used as a map in many traditions, of course, because it's valid. So in the Tantric map, the Tra is the third point that witness the polarity. And what I wanted to add to what I said the other time, because I didn't have time to dwell in it. The third point, it's also what births the polarity and observe the polarity. So normally we just call it the observer. It observes the polarity, but I don't want to have this idea that again there is this patriarchal powerful being or essence that just observe your life. No, the one that observes, it's also the one that birthed the polarity. So from the totality, the split comes. When a baby is born, when an egg is inseminated, it starts from one cell into 2. It's even got a name. Zygote. Where is skin? Zygote. Zygote. Like a god. God. So that's the beginning of polarized experience, polarized reality, the human being coming to form, and you start the movement into this world of matter, start taking place, and then is imbibed in polarity. But there is a third point. There is the point that activates the movement. If you want, you can call it pure consciousness, absolute awareness, or just the absolute. In Tantra, often we refer to it as the absolute with the capital A, not absolute anything, just absolute. And from the absolute, intrinsic is this movement of metamorphosis that split and then multiply. And every time it's a wonderment. It birthed itself in expansion and observe the expansion, and it gets to know more of itself. So this also in short word is this Tantra, the tension of the polarity held by the third point of awareness is not disconnected, it's not another thing. It's itself. And so the fool in the card is this being, a man or a woman, generally, because of course we're coming from a patriarchal culture, is a man in the tarot card, and then there's new card where she's a woman. So let's call it the fool. It's an it, and it walk towards an edge, a precipice, and it's got a foot out. So beyond its reach normally in the graphical, in the symbol, because Tantra also is full of symbol, and it love giving meaning to symbols, to understand the philosophy. So in the car, generally we have trees and grass and flowers. And then at the front, there is this rock, there is a precipice, and there is nothing. It's sky and emptiness. And the fool it's making a step, and you can see that this foot is going into empty space. But his body, it's really relaxed. And he's got a big smile in the face. It's a little bit like the dreamer. It looked like it looked really freshly shagged. You just had a good fuck, and you come out and you're just got this grin in your face, and you're just happy. It doesn't matter what happened in your life. You're just happy. So that's the fool. And we say in our contemporary language, only fools fall in love. This business of falling in love, it's foolish. And, you can't just plan your life on love and love affair. That's foolish. And so now we said, okay, it's a good thing. Only the fool has the courage to live its life according to the wave of the heart, and gives value to that. That's not a shortcoming. That's not a problem. That's not ignorance or a sign of stupidity, like our contemporary world tell us. It's actually a sign of much deeper wisdom. If the fool follows the wave of the heart, this is the only compass. And then it has a stick with the bag. It's like a vagabond. It's English, the word vagabond. Vagabondaggio, un vagabondo. So it doesn't have a place. And in this, it says, he, she, it belongs to the whole world. It doesn't have a specific limited place. This is your place. This is your country. This is your city. This is your house. We grow up and we live in a society that puts such limit around the beingness, our humanity. And you start to believe that, oh no, I belong to this country because I was born there. This is my country. This is my flag. And we become so nationalist. But the country is just a piece of land, really. The ground is a piece of land. The nationality in the country, it's a mental construct. You can't hold it. You can't really define it. I mean, in the map, they try to make this line around the country. It's so ridiculous, right? The line in the middle of the sea, in the Mediterranean. This is Italy, this is Greece. It's a line in the middle of the sea. It's so absurd, right? And yet we take it so seriously. We believe it. We buy into it. And we all have to walk around with passport, this piece of paper that tell you who you are. So the fool rejects all of this. It's not even coming into its consciousness, because in the bag there is all it needs, which is all its potential, the possibility of his, the unfoldment of his heart desire, of his love, the potential that he has. Sorry, if I say he is because I'm thinking of the card with the guy. Let's not take this too seriously. It's he or she. I'll try to say she more often, maybe, but it's irrelevant. So she has the whole her potential in the bag behind her back. This is also, of course, literally represented as a vagabond. It doesn't have a fixed abode. So the whole world, it's her abode. Her whole world is her house. She's at home everywhere. This is really powerful. To feel at home and relaxed everywhere. This is the dream of the Tantrik. This is what we practicing, and we culture in our practices, to be so relaxed inside myself that my being is my living home. And wherever I am, I'm at home. I'm safe because I dictate this. And when you move like this in the world around you will respond to that and will invite you to express and make home wherever you go. It also represents potential. The bag behind in this little packet, it's a small packet, it's got everything she needs and is behind her. So the way I read it also with the tantric map in my being is that these are her potential, and we are born with unlimited potential. And the fact the bag is behind, it gives me this sense that it comes a little bit from behind and lift. And we have this movement in the Tandava, when we practice the Tandava. Many of you are familiar with this. It's your potential almost holding you from behind and supporting you in your way to meet the future. So you don't have to worry about the future because we've got your back. Life has got your back. You're held from behind. And that's all you need, really. And that's what we say, that the fool is fearless. Because when her back is held open, when this happens, physically in the front, my heart opened. And so my heart projecting to the future. And the future can meet me. The future also has a possibility to meet me. So also thinking about the number 0, the fool that reject all this linearity of the world we live, it also rejects the linearity of time. That time is not a movement towards, it's not in a line. But in Tantra we say it's all happening at once, past, present, and future, imbibed in each other all the time. And if you think about it, it's true, we are always in the fucking present moment. I mean, you can dream the future as much as you want. Even when you get there, when you're in it, when you get where you wanted to be, you are right now, with yourself, right now with yourself. And if you're not having a good relationship with yourself, you struggle everywhere you are. It doesn't matter. They can dress it up for you. This concert, this event, this transformational retreat. And hopefully you maybe learn to have a better relationship with yourself. But you can't dress it from the outside thinking that that's what's going to make you feel better. It doesn't work like that. And, I've learned this by experience. In my own experience, I'm 52, still learning, but this is still the biggest learning. When I think, next month I'm going to go, and in Turkey, I'm going to teach at this festival, the excitement of the future. And I know that when I'm going to be there and sitting there, I'm here, just here. All this idea, this fantasy is right here. There are human beings around like you are right now. And there is me, my body, with my relation in the present moment. And that's what we carry around. And so when the heart is open and there is a little bit less mind, there are more potential for also this organic movement, this idea that the future is meeting you. You're not just going towards the future, but your future is coming for you. Because everything that happened for you in the future, it's what you've created for it to happen. So it's you doing your own future. And in that way, because it's not so linear, the possibility that you carry on your back, they also meet you at the front. The unfoldment of this potential, you are creating opportunity for this potential to unfold. This is, again, the suchness of life. It's rich. So close your eyes for a moment and just imagine your future meeting you. Just as a sensation that the future is not elusive, is not disconnected from you, as if you have tentacle and tendrils in your body form, moving out of your skin and bone. And these tentacles are already holding on to stuff in the invisible. And they're pulling it closer. They're pulling it closer. And then check if are you available to be met by the future. That nothing is predetermined, that you're loving of the moment, determining every moment. And then in the symbolism, the fool holds a flower, a rose. And the flower represents innocence. The innocence child, the spontaneity, because only a child is crazy enough to trust love. Only a child is crazy enough to walk into the unknown. Is because they don't have so much mind. And so they have no fear. The innocence is related to the perception of reality with no fear. And so that fear is a learned behavior. We are not born with it. And so for you also to meditate, where have you learned to be afraid? Who did you learn to be afraid? Who did you learn from? In your way, you express your fear. Many fear, little fear. Fear of spiders, fear of snake, fear of love, fear of being seen, fear of enterprise, fear of money. It's a learned behavior. So if you can start tracking down who did you learn it from, maybe you can start to create a little distance from it. And have more spaciousness. And then in the fear becomes another element of the suchness. When it comes, you just also let that to be part of the present moment unfolding. And if you manage to look at your fears with fascinating wonderment, then you're on a good track to graduate as the master fool. Childlike by nature. So childlike innocent is also a very powerful element for the tantric. Innocent eroticism. And the fool in the car also, it's so happy, he's in love, is having an erotic experience with the element. You can see her body is completely relaxed. She's partaking in these events of reality. And in doing so, she's having an erotic experience with the present moment. So it is sexual, yes. Every breath we take is a sexual endeavor, you know? Every breath we take is an erotic experience with reality. So if you're breathing, you are a sexual being. If you don't want to be a sexual being, just stop breathing. And if you are in the body, that's also the experience of the fool in erotic interconnectedness. The fool fuels. Wow, just come up with this. He gets his fuel from the erotic interconnectedness. Because when you have that, you are home everywhere. We just spoke about finding your abode everywhere. You belong. This also is a big, big concept worth meditating on, belonging. The feeling of belonging, or when I'm trying to fit in, that's the opposite of belonging. The opposite of belonging is not disconnection. It's like the opposite of love is not hate. The opposite of belonging is fitting in. Because when you try to fit in, what you are saying that you don't belong. You don't feel like you belong. And you're going to make it up. You pretend you're going to belong, but try to fit in. So the Fool doesn't fit in and anything. When you see the card, there is this body and the world. And the body of the Fool take big step, is taking up space, is not playing small. When you know that you belong, you find a lot of freedom in your gesture in life. Because everywhere is your place. And every people around are your comrade. They're not your enemy. People are not your enemy. They are your comrade. Even the people you have in friction and disconnection and complicate relating, they're still your comrade because they're bringing you opportunity to get to know yourself. So if you can see them in this way, they're not here to take you down. It looks like, it may appear like that, but they actually, with those actions, what if they were your best friend, attacking you in some way so that you could wake up some dormant aspect of your being? And then you start seeing reality as people, as your comrade, not your enemy. This alone is a tremendous shift in moving in the world. So the Fool, you can see that it belongs because it doesn't protect the heart. It doesn't have any gesture where it's thinking or is holding the head, having thoughts, or is walking with the hand close to the body. It's taking a step in reality. You know, it's the beginning of the Tandava. And so he's not afraid to take a step. He's looking up into the sky. It's in fascination and wonderment. He's making love with his breath and reality. And he's stepping. He's not afraid to step. For me, this is beautiful because he could just stay still in the land and have a dance. And other cards are like this. But the beauty of the Fool, that it doesn't indulge in what he knows. It's foolish enough to look for more into the unknown. So in our life, you know, sometimes we find good places where we are happy and everything is going well and it's so exciting. We fall in love, we are in partnership and it's cozy and it's simple and we tend to stay there. Why changing? Everything is going well and I'm going to hold on to this. I'm going to stay here. And in some way, this is how we limit the expansion of the potential, the future that wants to meet you in the openness of the heart. You know, and of course we can go in phases. Maybe it's just a pause. That's fine if it's a temporary pause, but maybe notice if in your life your pause are becoming very long. And the next moment you pause for 20 years. And you tell yourself that you're not going anywhere because you're so happy here, but maybe in reality you're just scared of the unknown. You're just scared of taking that other step, knowing that here you already have everything. Why moving? It's because Tantra teaches that movement, it's intrinsic to life, it's healthy, it creates harmony. And it's like water flowing. When you stop water and there is no movement, sometimes there is a pond and a little trickle. It's enough. There is a movement, a trickle coming in, something coming out. But if you block water completely, it will fester, becomes green. So this quality that water have that brings life, you can drink it and you can live. When it becomes green, you can't drink it anymore. You'll die. Festering. So, thinking in the movement of life and the movement of love like this, when we close in too much for fear of the future, it becomes unhealthy. And what maybe gave you sustenance for some time in your life start to become your poison. And so the Fool really invites you to take that step with everything you've got and everything you're carrying, and trust into the next movement, because we have this idea that when we come out of a situation into the next one, we're letting go, and it's so heartbreaking because we're losing all of that. Is that true? Can we actually really lose anything? If everything is yours, if you belong everywhere, is there anything you could lose, really? You've got everything. Everything is inside of you, this little bag on your shoulder. It's your potential. And so you take all of this that you already have and you open the heart and step into the unknown. And so the full step into space, absolute space. And so we don't know what happened there because the card doesn't tell us. Leave some space for your imagination. But one thing that we learn in the Tandava, when we learn to dance the Tandava, is also this concept of being in the world, being grounded in groundlessness. So being grounded into this world, but not into a surety. Don't be grounded into the thing you know. Be grounded in the mystery of this life. And so you don't know how deep it is. The more you deepen yourself, the more your foot goes into the ground. So you're grounded in groundlessness. And so that's also what the Fool shows us. One foot is on the earth and one is in the sky. These two qualities together, not too much solidity. Even in everything I tell you, even in the teaching of Tantra, there's nothing to just believe. You know, in the past, I used to deal with those posse of people that feels they need to protect Tantra, Tantra activists, Tantra protectors. What is true Tantra, what is not true Tantra, what is original, traditional, academic. And I went into this deep journey for myself, and I was very attached to Tantra. And I needed to protect it because it can't be misunderstood. And I'm like, Tantra in itself needs no protection, right? Because if it's the truth, does the truth need my little ego to protect it? Funny. I take myself so serious. It's a big lesson on self-importance that I need to protect the truth. You know, me. So I started to think, okay, then I don't trust this philosophy enough if I need to protect it. Can I trust enough? This movement for me is not even a philosophy, it's a moving current that it will take care of itself. And I just have to take care of myself in my relationship with it. And let everything else happen. That's the suchness of life. And allow myself to let myself belong to it. When I rest back and I relax in it and I make love to it, then I don't need to protect anything. Heart wide open to the future. So, grounded in groundlessness. This is really important, not to be too attached to anything too strong. Even things you believe you know. Yes. And yes, for now. Maybe in 10 years you change your mind. Maybe you also meet people and you think you're gonna trust them forever. And then one day, oops, situation has changed, you have changed. That too can happen. And in the same way, I take the teaching from my teacher, but I'm paying attention to the teaching more than the teacher. And because the teacher, it's also a human being. And if I invest too much in the teacher, and then it's something happening in their life and they fall off the pedestal, then my whole philosophy will be shambled. and scrambled. And then I'm going to be into chaos because I put too much rigidity around the beliefs system. That's why this school doesn't have pillars. You can't even lean on it. It's like, whoa. So you have to find your parameter inside. We give you some guidelines, some pointers, but the work is always yours. It's so important. You are the fool. If you choose to, you are the number 0. In every moment when reality created more of itself, in that one point of focus awareness, which is you, which is every single human being on the planet, the world of absolute potentials is there and is available. And if you put yourself in the center of reality, as you already are, you are in the center of your reality anyway, because if you think about it, all life, it's how you perceive it. Even this conversation, I'm sure each and every one of you will remember something completely different, will like some expression, hate others. It's your journey at all time, always. So if you take it, then at heart, that you're really important, and this is not egoic self-importance. This is you matter as a movement of reality into the world. And that will create your belonging, your sense of real belonging to the land, to the wind, to the language, to the concept. And when you find belonging, you can really take up space into your life. That's what the fool does. And the fool is not concerned about anybody's gonna think of her or him, because the fool also understands in this symbol that everybody's me. Everybody's me. And whatever I think the other are thinking of me is actually what I am thinking that they are thinking of me. Because there is only one thinking here. There is only me, right? At the center of my reality. So every time you said, oh, but if I do this, what they gonna think? Stop, take a breather, and watch your default programming that if you say, oh no, I can't do this, they're gonna think I'm mad. Oh, I am thinking that I am mad. And I am projecting this on people to justify it. And then I can point finger that I can't do it because they think. I can't do it because they will suffer. I can't do it because they will go into reaction. Whatever is the story, they, them, he, she, the other one. And this could be true, that because of your action, some other people also will suffer and will go into a crisis. But when you think, when you project what they're gonna do, there is a way to then go into your movement very aware of the consequences. It's a very conscious way to move towards your true movement, aware of the consequences, but not playing small because you project possible consequences. That justice projects your fear. And so the heart of the fool, it's fearless. It doesn't have a concept of fear because everything it does is the unfoldment of reality. So I'm coming back where I began, the tantra, the triangle, the triad. And so one of my teachers had this very nice image to describe the polarity and the third point. And we'd always say, if you have a barrel and a plank, a wooden plank, the monk will sit in the center of the wooden plank, try to find balance of polarity. Don't give in to anything. This is Buddhism very much. Don't give in to your desire. Don't make too many. Stay still. Detach. So it will try to find balance by sitting in the center If he can, good luck to him. And he might do, I don't know, I'm not here to judge. The tantric has a foot in each edge of the plank and balance polarity like this. And while he balances the polarity, he dances and has to find continuous flow. Maybe at moment feels like he's there and then go, whoa. And the third point can look like the head of this dancer, but it's not the egoic head. It's Shiva mind. It's that mind that knows. We spoke about this on Saturday at the Bliss Dance. And I invited you into this exploration. See if you can feel, even right now, you can close your eyes. If you can sense your thinking brain, your logic mind that judges, compare, separate, measure, resolve problem. It's a problem solving, actually, the thinking brain. And then there is a mind that is intrinsic in your whole body. We call it Shiva mind. It's pure mind. It just knows. See if you can feel and sense this quality in your body that you know what you know, don't you? You know some shit. Yeah, you know that you know. And then we spend our life pretending we don't know, and we acquiring knowledge from outside in. That's intellect. But this mind that knows, yeah, so we call it mind, and maybe it could be also representative of the third point of the polarity of the Tantra, this dance. And the third point is the mind of the dancer that just spontaneously birth the dance and the dancer itself. Because it just knows intuitively and instinctively when to give, when to pull back, where to find balance. And it's very intuitive. If you've done the yoga with us, the Kama Yoga, we say this word a lot, intuitively aware. To be intuitively aware. What does it mean? Just feel it in your body, intuitively aware. And so this third point, if we also go back to consciousness birthing itself continuously, infinitely, for eternity, because it doesn't have a linear time span. In the tradition, we said the Big Bang happened every moment. It's not once upon a time. With every breath, you recreate yourself. And quantum physics proved that reality, it's in constant appearance and disappearance. Appearance and disappearance. If you're looking, it will appear. You can see. And if you're not looking, it disappears. It's the Big Bang expressing. And, these are really hard concepts to understand with the logic mind. Stephen Hawking said, I saw this in the movie, the theory of everything. Of course, it's a science, science, no? Well, Scientist, thank you. He's a scientist. And he's like, my next mission is to find the equation of reality. Wouldn't it be nice if the theory of everything could be resolved with one simple equation? Wouldn't it be nice? It's like, yeah, it would be nice. But it's going to be really hard to find. It's too rich, the suchness. And so, he made an equation at one point. He thought that was it. And then 10 years later, he denies his own discovery. He found there was a beginning of the universe. He made a whole theory about the beginning of the universe. And then 10 years later, he published the next book that says, no, I was wrong. There's no beginning. The universe always existed. And so for us to understand this, it's blowing the brain that was always here. Everything is always here. So this is why we have practice to help you to feel eternity in your breath, in every breath, the Big Bang happening, consciousness is unfolding. It's expanding from its center with the only purpose to know more of itself, this divine mind. And so the Fool is a beautiful representative of the Tantric. And he's got all these symbols that represent Tantric living. So I'm gonna let it all land. So the Fool that is on the edge, is on this cliff, it's that you are also at the edge of evolution. You in your life are at the edge of evolution because you are alive now. And then if you have children, they are the next one at the edge of evolution. You know, it's like every new generation is on the edge. It's on the edge of what we know, but we are delighted to go into the unknown. This feeling of delightedness, because when you birthed reality and you birth it and observe it, doesn't matter death or sorrow or abandonment from this perspective. Perspective. It doesn't really matter because it's another exploration, it's another adventure, it's another way for consciousness to become. It's in the becoming that the fascination is there. So even the big drama of our life that build fear, if you're looking at them from this lens, then from the perspective of the observer that created the polarity, there's no fear. Oh, there is dead. Oh, this expression, manifestation died. Ah, okay, there is dead. It's a fact, it's an event. And another event will unravel, and will unravel, and will unravel, and so on and so forth. We live the suchness. And I want to just read you this little ending of this commentary on the Fool card. It says the Fool is the eternal soul. So we call it Shiva mind. Of course, it's eternal because it's omnipresent. And in Tantrism, we say that Shiva births everything. So everything in reality has the essence of Shiva in it. It's divine. So even your anxiety has to be divine in some way. If we're looking at reality with this map, because it has Shiva inside of it. The mind that created this event, the anxiety, the abandonment, death. So it's the eternal soul. You can call Shiva like this. Constantly starting new adventures. This is consciousness. Constantly creating more of it is an adventure. And taking leaps into the unknown. And you have to push into what was not there before. What's amazing about consciousness expanding, like the universe keep expanding in all direction, it expands in what is not known. What you have here is known, and the adventure is in the unknown. The edges of reality, the edges of evolution lies into the unknown, even the edges of consciousness. Once you know it, you creating a distance, you're separated, you're not in it anymore. So the journey of expansion always has to be in the unknown. And it's very uncomfortable. Like that. It is an invitation to relish in the exhilaration of leaping. Close your eyes and read this again. It's an invitation to relish. You feel this in the body, relishing. Sounds like ravishing. Yeah, when you're in the ravishing, you're completely present in the enjoyment of this happening. There's no thought in the future while you're relishing. You're relishing in the exhilaration. So if you only have the awareness in the ravishing and relishing to realize, I'm in the relishing, I'm ravishing, then the exhilaration will come. It's the awareness of the action that brings the state of exhilaration. Sometimes we call it intoxication, because we're like drugged up, intoxicated by the event, intoxicated by the practices, intoxicated by love. It's exhilarating. That's the big smile I was speaking before, that everything is good when you have great sex. Relished in the exhilaration of leaping. So it's the exhilaration of stepping. Mm-hmm. Who cares where? The where is not even in the sentence, just stepping. And there is that anticipation, that presence, that excitement, and we're not even going there. You just rest in the exhilaration that a movement is happening. Just that. And you can practice this in your life many times. Your life is going to give you many opportunities when there is the object of your movement. Takes the object again and just feel the movement, that tension. The tension of the Tantra, right? And we can rest in the acceleration of relishing. You relish in the suchness of this life, and you create more tension for more.